Hello and welcome to the Great British Mickey Waffle. I'm your host Ben, and today we're going to be talking about 10 things to do at Walt Disney World without a park ticket. I know what you're thinking, Walt Disney World without a park ticket? That's crazy, but it's true. There's actually a lot to do in Disney World, even if you don't have a park ticket. So whether you're on a budget or just want to take a break from the hustle and bustle of the parks, this episode is for you. For today's show, I'm joined by my fellow wafflers, Claire.
Hi, Ben. Are you okay?
Hi, Claire. I'm good. How are you?
I am fine today. Thank you very much.
I can't believe we're in May already. This year is flying by.
It's good. It's a bank holiday here, and next, just a few days till the coronation.
I know. We've got 3 bank holidays this month, which just means even more days off.
Excellent. All the Mondays off.
Yeah.
Some of us have got 3 bank holidays.
Hello, Peter. Hello, Jill. How are you?
Hey, okay. All right, thank you.
Are you looking forward to your non-days off, Peter?
Non-days off, yes.
It'll be super busy for you, won't it, Peter, if it's bank holidays and you're working?
Yeah.
So we're also joined by John. Yeah. Hi, John. How are you?
Hi, Ben. I'm really good. Yeah, start of May. Goodness. Who would have thought?
Have you been dancing around the maypole tonight?
No, definitely not. That's one of those. Don't even get me started.
Ribbon and bells.
Yeah.
Waving your hankies. No.
No. That is the most bizarre British ritual known to mankind. Yes, Peter the dancer.
John, maypoles are very naughty. Maypoles are very naughty.
Oh,
yeah. Oh, yeah, they are very, very naughty
indeed. Let's you can't leave it there.
We need an explanation.
Yeah.
They kind of represent a male part of the anatomy.
It's just a flagpole with ribbons on it.
Yeah.
No, it isn't.
Good grief.
It's a mating ritual.
Oh, behave. Goodness. That's taking it to a completely different level. Goodness.
Hello, Robin and Simon. How are you?
Hello.
Good, thanks. You?
All good.
Yeah, not too bad. Getting ready for our trip to Florida next month. I can't believe it's nearly here.
Yay.
Booking ADRs and everything today, eh, Ben?
I know. Steakhouse 71.
Wow.
Yay. Wait. Sorry, Simon. We'll tell you what it's like.
Work will be great while you're not here.
We just have to send you the pictures of what the breakfast is like.
We like you're with us.
Yeah. Vegetable Wellington for the win.
No, we're going for breakfast.
Yeah.
So, Simon, parties around your house then?
Yeah, anytime. I need help looking after the cats as well. So.
Yeah.
Before we begin the show, we'd like to share with our new listeners a bit of what we do at the Great British Mickey Waffle. We're a positive band of British voices united in all things Disney, and we share our unique perspective on the latest news, updates and events from the Disney parks and resorts. We have a twice-a-month podcast which is out on the 1st and the 15th of every month, along with our weekly live show Wafflers Wednesday on YouTube at 8:30 every week. So don't forget to subscribe on your podcast app and over on our YouTube channel so you don't miss any of the fun stuff we have coming up.
I'll tell you what, Ben, can we not get people at this point? If you haven't subscribed to YouTube, you might be getting close to us being 1,000 subscribers. So if you are that 1,000th subscriber, we'll make a special fuss of you on a Wafflers Wednesday as well. So yeah, make sure, come check out YouTube.
I was going to say you win a trip to Orlando then.
I've got it. If your number's 1,000,
go on.
Peter will make you a cupcake.
Oh, yeah, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
And dance around the maypole for you.
Dance around the maypole for you,
yes. Instead of dancing around.
Maybe Jill will be dancing around the maypole rather than Peter.
We're counting down to our 100th episode of the Great British Mickey Waffle with our journey to a century. And this month, we hand over to Simon to share Disney's story between 1943 and 1953.
With the continuation of World War II, the early 1940s saw the Walt Disney Studios enter a challenging decade both financially and creatively. Having already found a solid footing in playing its part as a morale booster for the patriotic war effort, but with international markets now cut off due to the war, faced a shortage of funds and increasing debt which forced a change of direction with their planned projects. A re-release of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs in 1944 brought in some much-needed revenue, and it started what would later become a reissue pattern for their animated films. But a steer towards a number of packaged anthology films, piecing together shorter animated segments into a single feature film that would be released in this decade, which would aim to prevent the studios from going bankrupt. The 1945 release of The Three Caballeros saw a deviation from the studio's previous animated feature style. Led by Donald Duck on his 10th birthday, and with the return of Jose Carioca, and accompanied by Panchito Pistols, this 6-segment feature film celebrating Latin America was a notable technical achievement, with it being the first feature film to combine traditional animation with live-action performers and well-known stars of the period. With the war ending in 1945, the studio, however, found it difficult to regain its pre-war footing, with its new focus being on these packaged feature films which didn't quite match up to the pre-war creative offerings. Releasing films at this time such as Fun and Fancy Free, which featured Walt Disney performing the voice of Mickey Mouse for the last time, and Melody Time, the spiritual sequel to Fantasia, which again welcomes back the Three Caballeros. 1946 then brought the release of 2 further features, Make My Music, perhaps the best of these anthology feature films, and The Song of the South, which faced controversy even on release, which has only increased over the years. And both of these feature films still remain unavailable to view on Disney Plus to this day, but for very different reasons. The studio rounded out the decade with further films, So Dear to My Heart, which was another live-action production, but which again included animated segments which were designed to appease the audiences that wanted an animated film, and then the well-received Adventures of Mr. Ichabod and Mr. Toad. Although the mid-1940s period could be considered somewhat of a low point for the studios, the last few movies did ensure the studios still turned a profit, but importantly, it did bring forward an emergence of a wider ambition. As it escaped from the considerable stresses of the studio, and on the recommendation of doctors, Walt Disney had found a new hobby. With the construction of a half-mile miniature rail track at the new family home in California, the newly named Cavalwood Pacific Railroad would be an inspiration and a precursor of things to come in the years ahead. The arrival of the 1950s then saw a number of big successes for the studio. The studio's first completely live-action film adaptation of Treasure Island, followed by its second live-action film, The Story of Robin Hood and His Merry Men, and then a return to production of classic animated films with Cinderella, Alice in Wonderland and Peter Pan yielding yet more continued success through the decade. Disney's first foray into television also saw 1 Hour in Wonderland launch, which would later evolve to become the weekly anthology series which would air for decades to come. But it was driven by his fascination and his love of amusement parks. It was the 1952 formation of Walt Disney Incorporated, which would quickly become WED Enterprises, which saw this new company tasked with the realization of Walt Disney's ambition, which was to evolve the previous exploration of Mickey Mouse Park into a new concept called Disneyland. It was clear that the company had once again found its footing and now had the momentum and drive to move forward.
Wow.
I didn't know that what's his name was surname was Pistols.
Panchito.
Panchito Pistols.
Yes.
Yes.
No way.
Well, he does carry pistols.
Yes,
So,
yes.
there you go.
There was a lot that happened in that decade, and I'm really liking this segment that we're doing, because it's just highlighting things that we've all know bits of Disney history, but it's interesting to sort of put it in each decade and just think of how much the company we know today and sort of how much growth and it's changed. Because a lot of those films, Cinderella, Alice in Wonderland and Peter Pan, were a lot of films that I remember a lot from my childhood.
I think as well, Ben, I think even last month, we were talking about the 30s and how difficult finances must have been. But actually, during wartime, you really wonder how they really had a scrape to actually keep the studios afloat, first and foremost. and also it must have, there must have been a time where they were struggling for workers as well, because obviously the studios in those days, being all sort of hand drawn, would have been heavy on personnel, and they'd be called up for duty in the United States Army as well. It's absolutely fascinating me. I must admit, and it was nice there, Simon. He actually alluded to the influence of the railroad and how Walt actually became, it used what was a hobby into something that features heavily in the parks today. And I think that's just such a wonderful way of tying that into it as well.
I was going to say, John, I think you're right about the workforce, because I think at that time that's when the ink and paint girls really came into their own, because there wasn't a male workforce necessarily at the during the war to be able to do some of that. So the girls who were called the ink and paint girls, who did all the amazing cell completion.
I think what it highlighted at the time, it was the flexibility they took with the studio.
Yeah,
They weren't adamant about sticking with what they had done. It was, let's change the approach.
Yeah,
and to
adapt and be flexible and all of that.
Yeah, adapt to the what they needed to be as a business.
Yeah,
and churn something out that would keep them going to try and still bring some revenue in.
Yeah,
I don't think it was necessarily. I think they were financed to the hilt at that point anyway, just to get out of it. But the showing a bit of flexibility meant that they were able to ride out the storm and come out the other end.
It's interesting that the three big films that rounded off that decade, you've got Cinderella, you've got Alice, you've got Peter Pan. All of those still have a heavy presence in all the parks.
Yeah,
don't they?
Yeah, that's true.
I wonder if that is intertwined with when Disneyland was first coming around.
Yeah, just after that, wasn't it? So
it was then that he was coming up with the idea for Disneyland. So I'm excited for the next segment.
It's a great segue into next month.
Yeah,
definitely.
it certainly is.
All about Disneyland.
Yay!
I've got a lot to work on.
Yes.
Got your homework to do, Peter.
So on to today's main topic. I alluded to it at the beginning. We're going to cover 10 things to do that don't require a park ticket. So as we know, just 10.
10-ish, right?
10-ish.
It's a flexible 10, isn't it?
It will be 10 and at least 10 honourable mentions.
I think
Okay.
I think the phrase, I was going to say, Ben, the phrase is a fat 10. I had a choir conductor who used to say, how long's the rehearsal? He'd be like, it's a fat hour, which could be anything up to like nearly 2 hours. So yeah, it's a fat 10.
Yeah. Okay. So
Well,
we know all our Orlando holidays can be busy, because for some of us we're from rope drop to fireworks. But through my experience, we try and plan in, at least now, a few more rest days. So not all these are lounging around the pool, even though I'd highly recommend it. So with this in mind, how many of us spend days out of the parks during their holidays?
Part
we
days,
do.
not full days.
I would go with you, Claire. It's more like a half day. We'll spend half a day in a park, half a day doing something
else.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
we've done full days away from the park.
Yeah.
We have in the past, but mainly we do half days.
usually for us that involves shopping.
Yeah.
It's quite nice to break it up, though, isn't it? It's quite nice to.
It is, yeah.
And to explore as well, because, resort hopping, we've talked about so many times.
Yeah.
But there's lots to find in the resorts, not just looking at the amazing lobbies and eating the food.
And it's not just about staying at the same resort that you're currently at as well. You can explore, as we've mentioned before, and by looking at to what we're going to discuss tonight of what different things you can do at different resorts. I think I'll start off with one of the first things we did was we were at Wilderness Lodge, and we were exploring our first Disney resort. We'd never stayed on site, so this was just somewhere where we thought, okay, this seems a nice resort to explore and start off at. And we walked straight past the DVC area, which we thought, okay, didn't have a clue what Disney Vacation Club was. But we got talking to the cast member, and she suggested that we go to the concierge desk and pick up a hidden Mickey scavenger hunt. So we were given this piece of paper, and we literally spent about 2 hours going around Wilderness Lodge in all different places, different floors, just finding and just ticking off. And it's something that we just do, not just Wilderness Lodge. We do that in all resorts. So we'll go and we'll see if we can find it, even if there's not a specific one that you can get from the reception, one that will actually make it up. So it's just something different that at a resort, and it's just a break from the park, and just something that all ages can do as well.
I've never done
free,
that. Right, it's free, yeah.
It's free.
Free entertainment.
But also we supplemented it on a future trip where we bought the book. I think it's a Steve Barrett book, which has all of the hidden Mickeys, and we went through ticking them off. So it's something that also belongs in our park bag.
Have you ticked them all?
Not all, as many as we can.
See, and the thing about a resort as heavily themed as Wilderness Lodge is that it's a delight to walk around and to explore.
Yeah.
So it's not as if it's, oh gosh, I've got to trudge my way around a hotel. You know, it's an absolutely beautiful place to just wander in.
It did cost us a lot of money though. And that was because we did end up purchasing DVC. So we did. It's one of those things. Yes, we may have had the free scavenger hunt, but we got a timeshare as well.
Look on it as an investment.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
40 plus years of Disney holidays.
Ours was a lunch at Sonar that then cost us DVC merch.
Walking around Animal Kingdom Lodge was, that's a thing another free thing to do. If you haven't got park tickets, you're not going to Animal Kingdom Lodge. Yeah. You can see so many animals in the savannah, and you can walk between the two buildings. They've got a dedicated Disney Vacation Club building, which is Kidani Village, or Jambo House, which is the main building. And you can see different animals at different parts of the hotel, and that's definitely a nice thing to do. And if you haven't got park tickets, but you'd like to see some animals, it's a great way to do that.
And you do it at night with night vision?
Yeah, they got the night vision binoculars.
So that's cool.
No, I was just going to say, cast members in Animal Kingdom Lodge as well are so well versed in actually spotting that you're there to see the animals. And what they will do is they will take time to come and have a chat, but they'll give you lots and lots of information. And so, again, Ben's talking about sort of scavenger hunts, but actually once you get the interaction from the cast members, when you've got younger children with you, they actually become part of the whole experience. And again, it is free, but cast members seem to really sort of make it really people friendly for you. And it's absolutely outstanding. It really is. It's a superb way of going and seeing
We've definitely experienced that, particularly Kidani, actually, in the lobby. There's been cast members with displays of different, regional local artifacts from areas of Africa, and the cast member taking so much time to explain that, particularly to the kids, about what it is, where it's from, what it's used for. It's just, edutainment, but it's in a very accessible and intriguing, informative way. So, brilliant.
One thing that we enjoyed doing was a carriage ride around Port Orleans. Now, we did it in the cold. It was very cold. Yeah. And they give you blankets to put over you.
So it wasn't August.
Kind of. No, it wasn't August, no.
And it wasn't Orlando.
It was. Yes, it was December. Yes.
December 2010. We'd had a day off-site somewhere else, and it had been very, very cold. And we'd come back much earlier than expected. So we decided, let's do this. It sounds a bit of fun. So, tucked ourselves up with a nice thick woolen blankets and got driven around both parts, the Riverside and French Quarter sections.
The thing is, you have to let the horse lead. And if they want to stop for any reason, they're going to stop.
Not that reason.
No.
Thank goodness.
well, no,
when you said you've got to let the horse lead, all I can think of is dancing.
What are you saying about Peter's partner?
It's a good job it wasn't Jill, yes.
Yeah, that would have been a mare.
No,
Hey.
it's really fun to do, and I believe they do one at Wilderness.
So they do one at
Fort
Fort
Wilderness as well.
Wilderness in Halloween. They do the Legend of
Right,
Sleepy
okay.
Hollow carriage ride.
Right,
It's
okay.
seasonal.
Yeah. They also
but
do the Christmas sleigh rides,
Yeah,
which is
which
just,
is-
Yeah.
just a horse and carriage.
Yeah.
It's not a sleigh because there's no snow.
It's not a sleigh. There's no sleigh. There's still wheels on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can pretend.
We've done both. We've done Fort Wilderness at the Sleepy Hollow at Halloween, and we've done the French Quarter. I can't remember the price of the one at Fort Wilderness, the Halloween one, but I believe they have discontinued it. Is that right?
It was there last year.
Oh, that's a
Or
shame.
was it? Oh,
Yeah.
maybe it was just during COVID then. In that
Yeah,
case.
I think
maybe.
it was. But it's interesting, Robin, you bring up Fort Wilderness and Halloween, and I'm gonna make a point here for, if people are in the Disney World area, Halloween season, a couple of weeks either side, please go to Fort Wilderness. If you can hire a golf cart, because most of them are rented out, you can book one in advance.
You can.
Even take the bus. Even just take the bus up to the Pioneer Hall and back. The way that the guests decorate their own RVs and the campground and the cabins for Halloween, do it at Christmas as well, but Halloween especially, it's the best entertainment. Honestly, we saw Hoop-de-Doo in the Halloween season, and we got the bus up to Pioneer Hall, and it was incredible, some of the stuff that we saw. And this is stuff that guests do for themselves and for other people to drive around and get experience of it. And it's so much fun. Go in the evening, enjoy the dark and the lights and all of it. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
And completely free.
That's all perfect segue to what Disney are promoting at the minute, because they're saying it's halfway to Halloween.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true. And I think
timing.
The other thing at Fort Wilderness, which relates to the carriage ride, is that you can go and visit those amazing and beautiful horses that they use for the carriage ride, and also for the park horses. At the Tricycle D Ranch, which was refurbished about 4 years ago, just before COVID. They redid the whole horse barn. It's got some, the cast members are there. They will talk to you if they're not busy with the horses. But you can walk along, and you can't touch them, you can't stroke them or pet them, but you can admire their beauty. And the horse that is the Headless Horseman's horse is there. All the beautiful carriage horses are in the park. It's just amazing, and also the Walt Disney's Calliope, musical Calliope, is snuck away in the corner if you want to see that, which is amazing. So Tricycle D Ranch I think it shuts at dusk, so it's like 6 p.m. it shuts usually. So
you
we
can
often
get pony rides there, can't you?
You can do pony trekking, and they do pony rides for children. So we went to do that once for Millie, but we were a bit late in the day. They've just stopped. And they're fairly cheap. They're sort of like a 10-minute pony ride around a paddock, but you can do a full pony trek. There is a weight limit because they are ponies, not horses. But I think if you're interested in horses, and how the cast members will talk to you about how they care for the horses that work in the parks, it's really interesting, and they're stunning, beautiful animals.
Yeah, absolutely.
Live the life of Riley up there.
Yes, I bet you
bet. Yes.
Yeah.
Fort Wilderness is just good for a lot of things, isn't it? You've
just
got archery and things like that.
Yeah.
There's so much to do at Fort Wilderness that doesn't involve going to a park. I really feel like that out of all of the resorts, I feel like that's probably got the edge with the non-park
extracurricular activities.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we sat at the bar in what's the bar called at Fort Wilderness? Inside next to Pioneer Hall, there's like a really short, a small bar. We sat there and had a chat with a couple of people who go for like 3 or 4 months at a time. They take their RV down.
Wow, that is the dream.
But I don't think it's unusual. I think that people who stay at Fort Wilderness often are there for a slightly longer, protracted period over a holiday, whether that be Christmas, Halloween, even the summer months if they live somewhere else. And they say that they go and they just spend days in the resort because there's so much to do, whether that's kayaking on the river, or as you said, Peter, going to do archery, or there's so many things to do.
They'll sing along. That's another.
Oh yeah, the campfire.
The bar there is Crockett's Tavern.
Thank you. And there's space for about 6 people to sit at a very small bar. But we've never sat there and not had a chat with someone.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. There's always someone wanting to talk.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Cool.
Yeah, we went a few years ago with my dad, and he used to be a jockey back in his younger years, and he went horse riding when we were out there in 2016. It was just impressive. Wow. It really good. I've just looked at the price of it. It's $55
for the trek.
It per person. Yeah, horseback riding on the scenic wooded trails at the cabins.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. That's not too bad, I don't think.
It's 45 minutes.
Can you still do the Segway tour around there as well?
I think,
I think it's still,
because you can do, if you don't fancy 4 legs, you can do it on 2 wheels.
If you can balance.
I've always wanted to try a Segway, but not done it yet.
I don't know which would be worse, the Segway or the horse.
It sounds like it should be some sort of like Top Gear style challenge.
Yeah, it sounds. They both sound a little bit risky.
Versus horse.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is quicker. Yeah.
But if we are talking about Fort Wilderness, Claire, we have to talk about the best bit of Fort Wilderness.
We certainly do. My dream job in Walt Disney World, absolutely 100%, is being Dolly Drew. In
the
review.
Absolutely. Hoop-de-doo. It is a dinner show. It is worth paying for Category 1 seating.
Oh,
every time.
Always.
Amazing performances. Incredible food. If you like fried chicken, this is a place to go. Actually, the vegan food is fine. If you like jackfruit, I don't. It's not my thing. But the Hoop-de-doo review, I have to say, we've seen it since the rewrite, because they rewrote some of it after COVID.
Okay. Oh no! Don't say that.
It's not awful. I'm a bit sad that some of the inappropriate jokes have been taken out. Because I like them. I like the slightly, kitsch, out of date comedy. But it is full of cheesy jokes, and it's like the dining show version of the comedy you get on the Jungle Cruise, which is probably why it works for me. I love it, and the musicians are incredible. It's all good fun.
So what's the difference in the category seating, Claire? Because I know you've mentioned it before about
so there's 3 categories, 1, 2, 3, obviously. Category 1 is the main dining floor. So it's a 2-floor building. It's Pioneer Hall. So you've got the stage at one end, like an old music hall. So the main floor, most of it, probably the front 3/4 of that is Category 1. Okay. And there are audience participation elements of the show, not to give away too many things. And that tends to happen mostly within Category 1. Category 2 are the tables that run along the sides of the bottom of the hall and round the back. And the back quarter maybe. And then Category 3 tends to be in the balcony upstairs.
Okay.
And it's all about view. It's all about interaction. Actually, there's some great seats in Category 3. If you're in the middle of the balcony upstairs, you can watch the sound and the lighting engineer doing all the controls of the show, which is very exciting, actually. But if you want to watch the show, Category 1, absolutely the way to go. And it is an all-inclusive, so it's as much as you can eat and also as much as you can drink. So adult beverages are included.
But it is just beer, wine and sangria, right?
Yeah.
But it's all you can drink.
But it is only so much fizzy beer, American beer that you can drink.
So I did wine. You can swap between them. So I've done wine and sangria, not at the same time, people, just to say. I've done wine and sangria previously. And if you get a great server, they don't let your glass go dry. The tide is never out at the Hoop-de-Doo.
That's brilliant, though.
So I love it. Hoop-de-Doo is like such a feel-good experience for me. It's sheer, unadulterated, cheesy Disney fun.
That's exactly it, Eau Claire. It's just fun, and it doesn't matter what age you are.
Yeah.
If you go with the right attitude, you just have the most amazing night out there. And
that's the thing. Leave your ego at the door and
Yeah,
just enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah.
Because, you know, if you want to play the washboard, play the washboard. Do it with gusto and a bit of vim. Yeah.
So something that you can do at Fort Wilderness that you can do, I think all of the deluxe resorts, maybe not Riviera, but I think all of the other deluxe resorts, so you can hire a boat.
Yeah.
So you can go out and hire a boat and go out on either the Seven Seas, Lagoon, or Bay Lake Lagoon. And you can they have like little tiny, what do they call them, the sea racers? Those little.
There's a sea racer, and then you get the pontoon if you've got more of you as well. Yeah.
So Simon and I have rented the pontoon before. I'm not sure I'm about the sea racer. It's very low in the water. Yeah. I'm more about, they're very nippy
luxury.
And quick.
You're more for the luxury of leaning back in the
I'm more for the slow and steady and a bit more luxury. So we've the pontoon boats before. I'm not about speed. Dear. I'm not built for speed. I'm built for safety.
You're built for comfort.
I'm built for comfort, not for speed. Yes.
Oh. We're getting back to Maples, aren't we, really?
Yes, I think we are.
I was just about to say, I think the pontoon boats sit about 10 people, don't they?
They do. They sit 10 people, and I think.
Yeah,
I think
you pay and split the cost, and you have to have an allocated driver, allocated pilot, and he wears she wears a wristband, I think, so that they know who's been taught how to use the thing.
Yeah.
Go and stop.
Yeah. All the training there.
Yeah.
I'd always worry about getting in the way of the other boats. That would always be that's my worry of it.
Ben, you get a warning because they actually have like water rangers. So if you're going across from Contemporary across to the Grand Floridian, you actually get told off if the ferry is coming from Ticket and Transportation and you're in the way.
Sounds like a challenge.
Speaking from experience, they come and actually say you need to move.
Yeah.
It sounds like we need a stopwatch and how quickly you can get from one side to the other.
So much fun to play chicken with the ferries.
Yeah. Do you know one of the best?
They work out pretty cheap. If you have 10 people on,
they're not expensive at all.
$5 for half an hour. That's $4.50 each. If there are 10 of you.
So take it out for an hour, spend a tenner each, and have an amazing
It's
trip.
absolutely brilliant.
I just need to find some people to go with in June.
Yeah.
One of some friends.
Just like
yeah.
One
of the things that it does offer though is a completely different view of the hotels, the monorail, and even the view in towards Magic Kingdom. So, as we found in the mid-month show for April when we were talking to Neil about photography, we actually shared as two families an hour on the boat. And some of the pictures, again, that you can actually get, because it's a different perspective of these places. And it is such a fabulous way of doing something completely different. It doesn't cost a lot. And again, you can just go and have a really good bit of fun. And also the radio on the boat, if you get it to work, it plays classic Disney tunes as well.
Oh, really?
It does.
Which is really nice because
they don't all work though.
No,
they don't. But it just adds a bit more to the actual ambience as you're on the.
I think the other thing with those launch boats, John, is you can rent them as part of certainly a fireworks cruise later on in the evening. So there are the launches. There is, if you're feeling flush, you can rent the Grand One, which seats I think up to 18 people.
Not anymore. I think it's less than that.
Has it gone down?
Yeah.
Oh wow!
I think is it something like it's something a lot lower.
engagements only, is it? 2 people and
no, there's definitely more. We had it booked for a group of us for summer of 2020, but we won't.
No. Yeah, we won't.
But yes, we were all.
Yeah.
We had to play around with who could go and who couldn't go, and who was leaving their husband behind.
It's up to 10 guests.
Again.
Wasn't me this
But there's certainly like a fireworks cruise in the evening. We did one from the beach club, the yacht club from the lighthouse. For it was an illuminations cruise. That's how long ago it was. Illuminations.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that when the barge, Harmonious has now gone, it might be worth doing it again. And we had a really cool skipper who was telling us all sorts of sort of Disney history and Disney information, and we could ask questions about absolutely anything. We did it for my brother and my sister-in-law's 10th wedding anniversary. So there was 8 of us on the boat, and we drove, and he took us to sort of Hollywood Studios and back in the dark, so we could see the backside of the Tower of Terror. And then came back past the Swan and the Dolphin, and then moored up under the bridge for illuminations. And do you know what? I think it was pretty much some of the best money we've spent for an out of park, something completely out of the ordinary experience that you're probably only going to do once, maybe twice if you feel like it. Special occasion. It's absolutely worth it, and if you can find some friends to do it with, even better.
I think that's a key as well there, Claire, because the Illuminations cruise itself actually costs quite a bit of money. But
about $400 plus
tax.
I
think it was about something like $380 or something.
Yeah, it's free snacks and soft drinks.
Don't forget snacks.
Yeah.
Cookies and crisps.
Yeah, it's just nice and. And like I said, the very first time we did one was actually way back in 2008, and the family we went on the cruise with are still we never even knew them at the time, and they are the people who were on last month's mid-month show. And it's just like one of those amazing things that you meet somebody and just on a complete leap of faith of being on the internet. Does anyone want to share one of these cruises, because it's open to 10 people, and there you go, 15 years later. Amazing.
That was what we did back in the day. With our Illuminations cruise, you met with another family.
Okay.
And it's great fun. And they do really supply things like ear defenders for the kids, so it is blooming loud near those fireworks. So they do.
Did you have to wear some fancy perspex glasses? No,
I didn't remember that, but I remember the ear defenders for the kids.
We did. We had fancy glasses,
lab,
but only at the Illuminations one. Obviously with wishes, we don't have to go
further away.
You're further away, so not the same thing.
Although we did exactly the same as you, John. Our first wishes cruise. Yeah, we booked that with another. It was another couple. Was there 3? There was
there was one other couple. They
just didn't turn up.
They didn't turn up.
They paid and they just.
They paid us as well, but we never turned
up. Wow. All right.
Oh well.
We never heard from them again.
You have that worry that they turned up, saw us, and went nope.
Oh wow.
But maybe if you are thinking of doing one of these cruises, sort of, I was going to say, put a comment in the Waffler's Arms, put a post, so some of us might be out there the same time you are, and happily split the cost.
Maybe you'll find some friends to do it with.
Yes.
That'd be lovely.
That's a great idea.
Talking of being on a boat, you can go fishing.
You can.
From a boat and from a waterhole in Port Orleans.
Yeah.
It's not something that I've ever looked at, but I've seen them doing it, and they look like they're having a great time. Yeah. But it's not something I've ever...
My understanding is the waterways around Port Orleans are quite well stocked. So there's quite a lot of catching as well as fishing.
Yeah.
So, it's well looked after.
Talking of Port Orleans, which leads me to Yeehaw Bob.
Yes.
Who's fantastic. The Yeehaw Bob piano man.
Yes.
Oh, go on, Jill.
He is, he's amazing. He's real old-fashioned vaudeville. And it's quite... noisy, raucous entertainment, family friendly, absolutely. You can bring the kids, but it's great fun. You don't have to be staying there. You don't have to pay any money. Obviously, it's at a bar, so it helps if you've got a drink in front of you, but you don't have to spend a load of money. And he gets everybody involved. He sort of goes around the audience and he'll sort of ask, people various things. And he's just such
He
a
calls us
showman.
royalty because we came from the UK.
Yeah.
That helps.
There you
Yes,
go. What can I
he's-
say? Give him away.
So, Yeehaw Bob, he's been there. He's been part of Disney he disappeared for a little while, and then he came
did,
back,
yeah.
which is good.
Yeah.
And he's there Wednesday to Saturday nights at the River Roost Lounge at
Yeah.
Port Lindsay Riverside. It's great fun, and it's loud and fast paced. So it's
good.
And he manages to bounce his piano somehow. I don't know how he does it, but he manages to pull the piano and bounce it.
Clever
He's
man.
fantastic.
He's a clever man.
Yeah.
Ben, something that you started with, which was Wilderness Lodge, and you talked about going on a little scavenger hunt, and I was slightly disappointed. I thought you didn't go where I thought you were going, which was to walk around to the activities area.
Yep.
And you can have a game of cornhole toss.
That is
Now we're talking, Claire. That's
Right,
it.
that's it. The game is on.
Yeah. It's in multiple resorts as well, but it's so fun.
Yes, it is. Yes.
There was one.
Yeah.
I think there was one at Old Key West that we saw.
Yeah, there was one at Grand Floridian as well.
Yeah, if
Riviera.
you've got a half an hour to spare, then you can have a game.
Maybe if you're a bit early for your dinner reservation.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And equally go on.
The key thing is, though, Claire, don't play anyone who's American, because they've been practicing for years. It's like baseball. You know, when baseball they have the World Series, and it's just baseball. Otherwise, we'll lose all of our lovely American listeners. But the cornhole toss, if you're American, I'm sure is one of them things you play in the backyard, and it just goes forever and ever and ever. And then you see someone playing it, and then a British person turns up, and it's just like chucking a beanbag.
It is like
primary school.
We don't have that same sort of level of skill. So we're never going to win the World Series of cornhole.
I was going to say, is there like a championship of cornhole toss?
Yeah, there is.
Oh, I'm sure
there must be.
If anyone's there in August seems to be the championship is on the TV. You can go and check it.
It really is.
I don't know which sports channel it is, but it was a free sports channel, and I've got to admit it shows a very sort of shallow life that I lead. If there's live sport to be watched, I'll find it.
I think we have to have a dib championship.
Yeah,
I think we have to have a waffle championship, don't we?
I think we do. I think I've got a little video somewhere from December when me and Becca were waiting for a reservation at Grand Floridian Cafe. We just spent like 15 minutes. So I set the camera up, and there was us playing cornhole toss for 15 minutes.
So if you've got your score from that, the next one's out. Can see if they can beat it.
Also adjudicated.
No chance. No chance.
Yeah, I think this has to be a thing. The waffle cornhole championship.
What do we win? It sounds like there needs to be a prize. It's like
even going back to the January show.
Prize for the Biggest Loser, like the one that comes very dead last. I
can do that. I don't know if anyone remembers January show, and Claire as part. Basically put it on the table that I've got to go down to Claire's, and we've got to have a proper waffler championship at some point. That was a January show. We're now in May.
It's a long time ago, but the challenge is still on the table.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I've just remembered we bought one last summer. Was it last summer?
Yeah.
Was it the year before?
You see.
So that was the year before.
No secret practicing.
Yeah.
We'll know.
Claire, I could practice all day and all night. That's still not going to be any good.
I expect you to be practicing while you're there and on your cruise, and that's the prime target.
Perfect on a cruise, yeah.
And the winner gets the title Boss of the Toss.
Yeah. Yeah. Someone send me a t-shirt with someone send me a t-shirt with that on it. Yeah.
Someone send you a t-shirt with that written on it, John. Surely not.
Strangely enough, Claire, yeah.
Well, unfortunately,
no names mentioned, Claire. Oh, yeah.
We didn't get to do any cornhole when we were there, but frankly, the aim that I've got, it wouldn't have made any difference. So you can put us down as the worst scorers anyway.
Oh, well.
Something else that all the deluxe resorts, I'm trying to keep this together, all the deluxe resorts offer is the free early evening fire pit marshmallows.
Yeah.
So for anyone who doesn't know, number one, you don't have to be staying at the resort. Number two, you don't even have to be staying on site. You can literally just go in, maybe with a dining reservation or to have a look at the resort. And you can help yourself to free marshmallows and toast them on the fire pit. If you want s'mores, they're going to cost you. But we've done that on multiple different resorts. We've certainly at Animal Kingdom Lodge in the middle of August heat. That's what you want, isn't it? A big fire pit. We've done that.
Not hot enough at 35 degrees.
Right, at 6 o'clock in the evening, which is when it tends to be. And Fort Wilderness Lodge, Old Key West, most of the deluxe resorts have a fire pit, and every day we'll do.
I feel like they all do.
I don't know if they all do. I don't think the value resorts do.
All the deluxe ones.
I think all the deluxes do, and I think a couple of the moderates do. But
there is a fire pit.
French Quarter
has a fire pit.
Unlimited marshmallows until you are going to vomit. You can keep toasting them.
Is that actually their slogan, Claire?
If it's not, it should be. But the cast member, generally there's maybe half a dozen people at these things, and you can just keep refilling. Yeah, and people you assume you have to pay. It's one of the things that's free. So do make the effort to go and experience, particularly in the colder months. It's really lovely.
I could have done with that in December when it was like -2.
The nicest one is at Kidani because it's outside where the rocking chairs are, and that fire pit there is amazing. So
I would say you can team it with something else. The campfire is usually not too far away time-wise from the movies Under the Stars.
No.
Great call.
Great call, free thing to do in Disney. I know. Free and Disney don't normally go together. And again, you don't have to be staying there. You don't have to be staying at that resort. You don't have to be staying on site even.
Yeah.
You can rock up, depending the resort. I mean...
I think one of the beach clubs always the best because it's on the beach, isn't
lovely.
it?
Yes.
Yeah.
On the beach. Just
at
sit
Crescent
there.
Lake.
Yeah. Which ones? Where have we sat? I think the boardwalk. We sat on the little AstroTurf bit watching it before.
Little AstroTurf.
Yeah.
The one at Grand Destino Tower I've done. So they've got an AstroTurf bit there, which is it's lovely actually.
We were quite lucky when we were at Boardwalk because then we were in one of the rooms so we were able to watch the film from our balcony.
Oh,
that's not that point then.
I know, but it was quite nice just drinking on the balcony, watching Moana.
Yeah.
Nice. One little caveat is that
Vero Beach. Yeah. We're at Vero Beach, and
we were on the balcony.
We were on the balcony, but we were staying out of the wind because it was very windy, almost to the point that the screen made the inflatable screen look like it was going to blow down the beach. I don't think there was a single person watching it that day.
One little caveat I would say is that if you are not staying on site, not all the resorts will allow you to park if you don't have a dining reservation. So, but anybody can use the Disney transport, and obviously there's things like Uber and so on. So,
I think if you're planning on going to one of the ones on the monorail loop, you're less likely to be able to park without a dining reservation, depending on the time of year, and they have tightened up on that an awful lot.
But book a nice dinner. Don't forget dinner. Have your
Make-
dessert.
Make an afternoon and day of it. That's
Yeah.
the
Take your time to look around and experience the result.
Yeah.
I'm gonna raise the bar slightly, John, and we're gonna talk mini golf.
Yay!
Yay!
Here we go. See,
So-
now we're talking. You see, sport. You see, that's it, Claire. The minute we mention sport, that's it. I'm all
You're
all
right.
in.
Yeah.
All
Mini
in.
golf, real golf, foot golf.
Yeah.
It's all available.
Yep. at different sort of rates as well. So if you're listening and you're in the UK and you buy a UK ticket, you will find that your mini golf is free, and you can use the Disney mini golf to your heart's content. But you do need the Disney ticket, which goes against what we're saying. So again, it is one of those, but it's worth doing.
I think it's
even if
only
you have to
$16.
pay.
I think it's $16 around if it's
Yeah.
Even if you have to pay for
Single
it, it's
ticket.
worth doing. It's worth doing.
And it's interesting. Certainly at Fantasia, you've got two different types of course.
very
You've got
different.
the crazy golf course and the
Yeah.
fairways course. Yeah.
Yeah, which is the height of competitive putting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, even though I'm legendarily bad at mini golf, I've actually managed to beat Peter twice at Fantasia Golf.
Hey, there you go. You see.
So there you go. And there's something to do with it being my favourite film, obviously.
Yeah. We always get caught up in the fairways one though. I must admit.
Yeah.
It's the golfing sort of prowess kind of takes over, and you can't.
A bit
bring
of pride
yourself,
and ego comes into it there. You need a sandwich.
I think it's all ego until you get to about the third hole, and you've got to go back to the shop and ask, "Can I have another golf ball, please? I've lost the other one."
Mine was more that I lost the golf club because I reached. So if you want to talk about golfing prowess, John, that was mine gone that day.
The first time we did Fantasia Gardens, we somehow missed the entrance and had to walk from hole 10 to
on the fairway.
I got you.
On fairways,
Yeah.
and had to walk all the way back to the clubhouse.
Yeah.
All the way back from hole 10.
Yeah.
Because we
That's
just
all right.
missed it. Somehow missed the entrance. I don't know how we missed the entrance. It's massive.
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'll tell you the other one as well, Peter. If anyone's never done the mini golf at Disney, right next door to is it Blizzard Beach?
Blizzard Beach.
You've got Winter Summerland Golf, and it is the theming is absolutely incredible, and it's just one of those places that if it doesn't matter which of the courses you play, it is a load of fun. It is also a great photo opportunity if you want. Certainly, we've had ones before where we got kind of Christmassy pictures in August for the calendar that we've produced every year. It's just like, right, kids, quick! We haven't got any Christmas pictures. Let's get this one. And it always comes in handy. Does that? But and there's a lovely one, and I'll see if I can dig it out, and we'll put it in the notes of the show, and I'll put it on the Waffler's arms of our Joe just lying next to the sleeping Santa.
Sleeping Santa.
Yeah, and it's just like he's just laid out. It's just, and again, it's just such a brilliant way to spend. Sometimes it's an hour, maybe an hour and a half, and you don't have to be good at golf to play the mini golf. No. It is totally fun. But again, if you're in the UK, and we've made use of this a number of times, you also get the Oak Trail Golf, which again, it's a 9-hole walking course. You can hire very reasonably some golf clubs, so you don't have to take your golf clubs out with you. Usually you get a really good quality. It's usually tailor-made clubs that you get. So it then costs you when you get home and you realise the driver that you've
the old one in your bag isn't quite cutting it anymore.
Yeah. And so, the weirdest one of all, you get a trolley as well. So, and the trolleys were but the trolleys were such a good quality. We ended up coming home. I ended up buying one, and then both of my boys ended up buying one because it was just a perfect push trolley. And obviously, being people who go in August, it's always red hot. Even if you go early morning, you come off walking around there, and it really drains you. So it's maybe worth thinking of, is it worth just complete, because it does take it out of you, and you do need a lot of Gatorade afterwards.
That's why the girl in the cart with the drinks comes round, John.
Yes.
Yeah, I know, yeah, but I'm always driving. But the other one as well, excuse me, that's also worth looking at, and certainly from a personal point of view, is Disney have got their own golf courses. They are significantly more pricey than other golf courses in the Orlando area. So whether or not you want to go and check them out, you can do. The Disney golf you can book online, but it's variable pricing depending on time of day, time of year, how far out you want to book, etc. So it does have that sort of dynamic pricing bit where if they're struggling maybe to fill tee times, you can generally have a look the day before. You can sometimes pick it up quite cheap. Again, club rental is not a problem. But it's an amazing feeling going and playing golf around Walt Disney World, particularly when you're on either Palm or the Magnolia course, which sort of sweep the way around Saratoga Springs and Old Key West.
Yeah.
Is it a good experience, Simon?
It's a good experience if you're good at golf, right? If you're teetering on the I can just about get by, the complexity of those courses really highlights the flaws in your game.
That is the best thing about staying at Old Key West, and I love Old Key West, is watching people who are teetering on the edges of being okay at golf, playing those courses.
Yes, it's the same next door.
That's what makes my day with the coffee in the morning.
Who loves watching Simon play
Absolutely.
golf?
The thing is, though, you actually feel totally on show, and it doesn't matter if when you're on the fairway, every shot you always think someone is in their bedroom looking out at me, and I'm gonna look an absolute plank if I just skim the ball 10 yards down the fairway.
And everybody does.
And I think as well, while we're on the subject, I have named and shamed my eldest lad as well. Primarily because he plays off a single figure handicap, and I don't.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He did hit one of the shutters next to the window of one of the places at Old Key West, and it was. I just said, "Look, don't even bother going looking for the ball. We'll just drop a little one, and we'll pretend it never happened." And it was, I love it. It made such an absolute racket of a sound, and I think he thought it was going straight through the window as well.
The acoustics ricocheting round the
it did, Claire. But even if you're a single figures handicapper, it's it does find you out.
It's tricky. Yeah.
It's nice plus points though. The golf cart is included in your
the green fee
in your course fee. So.
Yeah. Wow.
When you lose it on hole 7 and you sit out 3 holes, it does at least give you something to do.
It's really good though because they've got GPS in them as well. So you've hit that shot from one side of the fairway and it's kind of shanked across to the other one. You're just zigzagging your way along, and you just basically you look.
You must think that's hysterical.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's just and also.
Okay, this sounds like something we should all do when we're out there next.
Right?
Oh, definitely.
Absolutely not.
But if you go to the pro shop and have a look around, because actually it used to be a stop on the PGA Tour as well. But there's the most amazing golf cart with a fake Mickey on the front as well. Again, great photo opportunity.
Yeah.
You don't even have to play golf, but it's one of them really brilliant things. And
there's some good merch in the shop as well.
Yeah.
Happiest
place on turf.
Maybe I need to go to the shop. I can see the shop. There's good merch.
Great golf merch in the pro shop.
Yeah.
I just had a quick look at the price of foot golf because my brother and his son and my cousin and Dan went and played foot golf back in 2019.
Yeah.
So they play the 9-hole Oak Trail course.
Oak Trail, yeah.
as foot golf. So if you're not golfers but you want to go out and have some fun on the course, it ranges depending on season between $25 and $35 per adult, which I don't think is particularly expensive. You get 25% off that for under 18. So if you've got a group of 4, you can play up to 6 people. So you get to play the football version of the course, and they have reserved times where you can do that. So that's something different, and foot golf is good fun for the whole family, actually. So it's another option.
It's a really fantastic golf course, is Oak Trail. And also, if you pick your time at the right time of day and time of week, I can't even remember, some time of week, you'll go there and you can hear fireworks being let off that hadn't actually exploded from the fireworks the night before. So it's just one of them things. That's my excuse. Middle of the backswing. Oh, some pesky fireworks.
Those fireworks.
It's amazing because just that little bit away from the parks. You still hear the railroad. And yet you still get the fireworks being let off. But so well worth it, even if you're not.
So, John, you were saying that they used to be part of the tour. They are championship level golf courses there, aren't they?
They are PGA courses.
Very much.
They are
PGA level.
Arnold Palmer design PGA courses. And they're tough. They're hard plays.
If as well, it's worth saying because Arnold Palmer, I can't remember the name of the group, but his company took over the running from Walt Disney World. And what they did is they renovated every single one of the golf courses. They've changed it.
Beautiful.
Is it Bay Hill?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it is Bay Hill.
They're beautiful, they run as beautiful courses.
Our friend and avid listener, Carrie, her husband, is a chef for Bay Hill. And he knew Arnold Palmer very, very well. If ever he had a private dinner, Mark was always the private chef for it.
Nice.
That's why I knew it was Bay Hill. I am not that knowledgeable of golf. It's only
you could have got away with it, Robin. I can't believe you've outed yourself. You could have been like,
no, it's funny. John saying any mention of sport, he's there. You'll find sport on the TV. I am the anti-John. I am nowhere to be seen.
It's weird. It's weird though, Robin, isn't it?
I'm out.
It's weird.
Now, Ben, there are a whole load of other things we haven't mentioned. And I wonder if we do a quick whistle-stop tour.
Did we mention the canoes or kayaks?
Yes, we did.
When we were briefly at Fort Wilderness.
Yeah,
that's something
I'm not sure.
that
I'm going to do a Jungle Cruise joke. I'm not sure I did. Canoe.
Because that's something
we did. We had a good mention.
We've seen friends do that over the past couple of years, and it just looks so much fun.
It does look really calm and peaceful, actually. But also over at Coronado Springs, which I didn't realise you can do mosaic making and
there's
painting.
loads of craft stuff.
And
loads of craft stuff around the parks.
They also
do t-shirts, tie-dye
t-shirts. So these are things that are an additional cost, but a resort base. You can do things like the Sangria Academy, apparently.
That sounds nice.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
They should do a pickle in the pouch tour. John, you could create something and make a lot of money.
Definitely.
There's wine tasting in Gico as well, isn't there? Which obviously comes at a cost, but
I don't know if that's come back. There's a few things that were there that I'm not sure. Back. So there are like some of those Animal Kingdom Lodge experiences haven't returned yet. The other thing that hasn't come back yet, because the park's only just reopened, is at Typhoon Lagoon, is the surfing lessons, which are not the cost-effective option, just telling you. But a few years ago, 2019, Morgan did do that. We gave the kids an option to do something each. Morgan chose to do surfing lessons. Millie went to the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, which you can do in the park or out of the park. But Morgan did surfing lessons, and do you know what? I'll put some photos and a couple of videos in the Waffle's Arms I really hope they bring it back because it's such a unique experience. And there is nothing like being at Typhoon Lagoon at 6:30 in the morning to to make you aware that you're on holiday. It's so beautiful when there's nobody else there.
Yep.
I got some amazing pictures of the sunrise at Typhoon. And the surf team there were incredible. The instruction, you got breakfast, so Morgan was surfing, but the three of us were there spectating. And then usually you have a group of between 10 and 12 surfers. His group, there was 5. So they got obviously almost double, they got double the amount of time in the water.
That's really good.
It's exhausting because you're constantly hauling yourself up onto a board and trying to stand up. So if there's like 12 people, they can sort of go once every third time because it's 4 people at a time. So you have a bit of respite. If there's only 5 or 6 of you, then you're constantly in the water. Morgan was dead for the rest of the day. We did Halloween party in the evening. It was like go and just chill for a few hours. And he ached as well because it's hard work if you've got to number one, get up on the board and then try and balance. But the team, the surf crew are amazing in terms of teaching, trying to help. Yeah. And the photos that we got as part of the package is just incredible. So I know it's something that isn't always going to be for everyone and it isn't the cheap option. But if you're looking for something unique as a gift for someone,
it's different now, isn't it?
Yeah. Speaking of bougie things, I've got one.
Bougie things? What's that me? Me and my bougie things.
You and your bougie things. It's all right, Claire. We're kindred spirits. My bougie thing that I think is a lovely thing to do outside of the parks, the Senses Spa at the Grand Floridian.
See, I've not done that.
No.
Oh, wow. Oh, Claire, you're not lived.
I know.
There's also a spa at the Springs as well.
I'm glad Becca's not listening to this because otherwise we're going to Le Grand in a couple next month. So it's like, okay.
So the one at Saratoga Springs is not planned to reopen at the moment. They've said they're not reopening it. It's just going to be the one at the Grand Floridian. Mm-hmm. And it is a bougie experience. You can get cheaper things. You can get, pedicure for about $85 plus 20% tip plus tax. Or a massage, I think they're about $170 for 50-minute massage.
It's cheaper than a ship.
Well, yes.
This is true. Cheaper than on the cruise ships. So I did it a few years ago and I had a massage and it still stands as one of the best massages I've ever had. And they also have like a little plunge, like pool and sauna and heated mosaic lounges and then other lounges. It's an experience. You're not just paying for a treatment and then going. You plan to go for a couple of hours and really chill. And it can be a nice relaxing way when your feet and legs are in agony. Mm-hmm. It can be a nice way to sort of put your feet up.
It sounds fun.
Yeah.
I'll add it to my bougie list. Add it to the bougie list.
Added to the bougie list.
So I might add that to the day where we do Keys of the Kingdom. So 5 hours walking and recover afterwards.
Oh, you might need that. Yeah. Fun. I think Robin as well. You'd also mentioned about poolside cabanas.
Yeah.
As well.
So in most of the deluxe resorts now, they offer poolside cabanas, and I think they start at about $300, and you get like light refreshments. You get a dedicated area. You've got very attentive staff. You get like nicer lounges than just the free ones, and you don't have to rush down. You know what it's like at some of the more busier pools. I'm looking at Stormalong Bay here. You don't have to rush down to get your spots.
Oh, that sounds great.
For a while, they were allowing people who weren't staying there to book the cabana, so it could be a way to use the pool. There's some suggestion that you have to be staying there, but some people suggest that you still don't have to be staying there. I guess it depends on the person you speak to on the phone when you book it.
Yeah.
Always the way. It depends who you speak to.
Depends on the resort as well. Because I know they used to do the DVC and pool hopping, which hasn't come back since COVID.
No.
We used to
do cabanas in Tomorrowland.
That's like $600 a day. They lasted 48 hours.
For good reason.
A tent in the middle of Tomorrowland.
Absolutely.
Who thought
One
that
thing
was a
I
good
like
idea?
to
Keep
One
it
thing
with
I
the
like-
bougie though. I mean, another whistle stop thing. Has anyone ever done the cake decorating at Amorette's?
No.
No.
And you know what?
No,
Amorette's is a bit of a
no.
weird one because I've been there a few times. The cakes are stunning. They look amazing. Does the flavour match the view?
I'm told
I'm
it doesn't. I haven't done it, but I'm told it doesn't.
I would agree with you, Claire. I'm not sure.
These things are beautiful.
Yeah.
They are works of art.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
I've seen a lot
they
of
just
people
taste
go
sweet.
and do and enjoy making, because you get one cake between two. So it does make it a bit better priced if there's two of you doing it together.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's a cool thing to do.
it is a cool thing to do. It's a very cool thing to do. But I'm not sure I'd then be that bothered about eating it.
I think I'd be on my way to Wetzel's Pretzels afterwards.
I'd rather spend my money on the ganache.
I haven't been there.
Oh, it's a lovely chocolate.
Some good
Yes,
chocolate.
we haven't been there, but our meal at Wine Bar George finished off with the chocolate experience, which is chocolate from the ganachery with matching wines,
Nice.
and that was amazing.
One
I'll
thing I
just,
liked.
I'll just see you all in that Jock Lindsay's hangar bar, and I'll be getting drunk on margaritas in there.
Yes.
Simon, I'm with you because the queso in there is amazing as well.
This sounds like another show.
Oh,
We need to do like a whole show on Disney Springs. I think we could do multiple shows
Have we
on.
not done this
Yeah.
before?
I don't
I'm
know
sure
whether we
talked
have or
about
not.
Disney Springs before, but
It's
Yeah.
been a while.
We'll do it
We've
again.
let
Yeah.
them out.
We'll do it
We
again.
need to do it again.
yeah, we
Yeah.
can talk about Jock Lindsay's all night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do it.
One thing I like to do is take a still camera and either walk around your resort or walk around a nice area, because yes, you get some great photos, but it also makes you appreciate more what you have in front of you.
The
You're
details,
searching for things to take a photo of. You see more, you get more out of just walking around.
Oh yeah, looking for the details.
Yeah.
And I'm going to throw in a way to see more and that you might not have seen before and experience something you might, is if you particularly enjoy exercise, you can take part in the Run Disney events.
Yes.
And you get to see all sorts of things backstage.
You do. Yep.
And I know that Run Disney have their own website, and I'm going to put a big plug for the WDW Radio running team. If you're that way inclined, obviously Lou and the team over at WDW Radio have a fantastic team that support charity. So running events, if that's your thing, whether that be the 5K at Castaway Quay or, the full dopey, you do get to see areas of the parks that you wouldn't normally see. And that is an experience. They're not free, but you don't need a park ticket.
They are definitely not free.
Not free.
No.
You could buy 2 sets of park tickets.
Yeah,
I know.
a friend posted the dopey prices, and I was like,
They're
you've
obscene,
got dopey
but
to pay those.
They are, people pay them over and over and over, don't they? Because they love the
I
Run
can
Disney
see
events.
why. I can see why.
Totally.
I'd love to do it, but unfortunately, it comes just a little bit close to that whole sport thing I talked about. About that life.
I think that they should introduce Morris dancing in the UK pavilion.
Yeah. Oh, we're back
The
to
only
Naples
way-
again. Yes.
The only way I would run in Disney is if I was being chased.
Yes.
That's it's like, why run?
No, I'm not about running.
No.
I'm afraid.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Why do they have
Even
gyms
then,
in the
even then.
hotels?
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
Why do they have gyms in the hotels? Who
I
puts a
know.
gym
Oh,
on the
hang on.
holiday?
No,
You
I've
get
got
enough exercise around the park.
husband, sorry.
That'll be me.
Yeah.
Simon will actually use the gyms.
So will Morgan.
Okay.
Morgan used the gym on
Yeah.
the Disney Wish. Absolutely.
Mhm.
But if you fancy a bit of exercise, you can rent a Surrey bike. That's a whole other
Yeah.
experience.
That is.
Pick your team carefully.
And
That's why I
especially if
say.
you're going uphill.
Yeah. Pick who's in the front and who's in the back carefully. Because
Oh, I'm in the back.
Can't tell if you're pedaling or not in the back.
Oh, we
Right.
can
We can tell. Oh, we can tell, says Simon.
Oh,
Pick your
me
team
involved in
carefully.
the back.
That's it.
And of
Going
course-
over the bridges at the boardwalk.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I'm in the back with a beverage. I've got my drink. You carry on pedaling. We're fine.
And of course,
Robin,
if
you
you're
and
more in
Anna.
the
That's it. Christmas. We'll sit in the back. Anna, Simon, you're.
There we
Go on, Jill.
We'll swap over on the downhill section.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
That's where I come into my own.
Of course, if this is just far too exciting for you, as it is for me, there's also live music and live entertainment that you can sit and relax and watch. I mentioned Scat Cat's Club, which sometimes has live music. We talked about Yeehaw Bob. There's very often live music in Disney Springs that you can sit and watch. Yeah.
Always,
Is there stuff back at the boardwalk yet?
There is.
There
Yeah.
is, yeah. There's
Yeah.
some entertainment. I'm not sure there's much singing outside of
Jelly rolls.
piano bar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dueling pianos, jelly rolls, if that's your thing.
Yeah.
Not for everyone, but it is.
That's been on our
I'd
list for a
say
while, and we
jelly
ain't
roll.
tried it.
Jelly rolls is better. We've been to Howl at the Moon, and we still think Jelly rolls is better as a
Cool.
Yeah.
in terms of as an out and out piano bar. Jelly rolls was still better
Right.
than Howl at the Moon for us.
And while you're there, nip over to the Swan and go to Kimonos and have some karaoke fun. I've done that.
I did not know that was a thing.
Okay, December,
Yeah.
that's on the list.
Ben, I was just going to mention as well, if anyone's listened to the whole of the podcast and you're planning your next trip to Walt Disney World, go back with a pen and paper, listen again, write down all the things that you want to do, and I'm pretty sure you'll probably have a list of about 25 things.
Easily,
Easily, yeah.
definitely.
Aye.
And also,
And we don't make any apology for the trauma it's going to cost your bank
no,
manager.
but what we would love for you to do is when you do go on your trip to Walt Disney World, take some pictures of what you're doing and share it in the Waffler's Arms, because we'd love to see
Yeah.
whether you're,
Yeah.
I don't know, cornhole toss.
Maypole dancing? No, that wasn't one of them. Sorry.
We're giving Disney ideas. Then.
Yeah.
Well, if they're not doing a Mary Poppins attraction, they need something else in the UK
Right.
pavilion. So
That would fit in the Mary Poppins theme, definitely.
yeah,
Yeah.
it would.
It would, yeah.
But yeah, that's all for this episode of the Great British Mickey Waffle. Thank you for listening. You managed to get all the way through to the end. So we hope you enjoyed this episode and then it brought a little bit of Disney magic into your day. So if you want to stay up to date with everything we do, be sure to follow us on our socials at GB Mickey Waffle on Facebook, TikTok and Instagram. You can also email us at waffleon@gbmickeywaffle.com with any comments, questions, or even ideas for future episodes. So we love hearing from our listeners and appreciate your support. If you enjoyed the show, please consider leaving us a rating review on your podcast app, and don't forget to share the show with your friends. And if you're watching on YouTube and you enjoyed the show, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe and ring the bell to get notified when we upload more content. And I think there's just one thing left to say. Waffle on.
Waffle on!